Man, these days $50 or euros gives you a lot of bang for your Bluetooth buck. And we're not talking just zero feature buds either. You're getting ANC, transparency, and a sleek build. So let's compare the new SoundPeats Mini Pro with one of our favorites, the Earfun Free Pro 2. Goedendag, we're DHRME. Dapper hair, real men, entertainment.
So let's start with sound. The SoundPeats can get ear-bleedingly loud. I measured them at a max of 115.5 dB, so volume should not be an issue for regular folks. For me, 50% was a comfortable listening experience, with about 60-65 being the max I got to on my Android phone. In terms of tuning, the SoundPeats Mini Pro is all about that U, baby. No, not you personally, but about the U-shaped sound. I mean, just look at it. Before we talk more about the frequencies, the one thing that stands out about these buds is their soundstage. It feels really wide. I'm not sure how they did that. But back to the tuning. I'll just come out and say it. Not a fan. Now, before you shoot me in the comments, this is a little about personal taste. Yes, sure. But there's also some things objectively that you can't deny. I mean, look at the chart, guys. I didn't really love how recessed the mids are and how it becomes noticeably worse with noise cancelling on. Vocals, lead instruments sound like they're at the back of the room. You'll hear the drums and bass louder than the vocalist, and that can get disconcerting. The perfect song to highlight this is Spinnin' by Marian Hill. The heavy bass hits overpower everything else. So our preferred setting is to use it without noise cancelling, where we got a little bit of the mids back. Now about that bass, there's not much of a sub bass hit, it's mainly the mid bass, and it can feel a bit boomy on some tracks. The other end of the U, the treble is also turned up, and again, on some tracks the voice comes across as too bright. Timbre is alright and maybe a bit better than the Earfun. Overall, I didn't enjoy the music as much as the other set of buds on this list. It's a real shame because I think these buds can sound good. But that stock tuning's all you get. There's no app on these earbuds to change EQ.
Well, SoundPeats does have an app, but it's shady as It asks you for everything but the permission to kiss your wife and sends you an email in Chinese to verify your email address. So it's obviously not meant to be used with this product. The newer Earfun models have an app, but the Free Pro 2 doesn't promise an app, you won't find an app, and you don't need an app, because these buds, to our ears at least, sound effing great. Sure, they ain't the flattest thing since sliced bread, that's a metaphor if you've ever heard one, but it's tuned in a way that we enjoy a little more. Maybe we turn the sub bass down a little, and sure, the timbre isn't uber realistic, but overall the sound feels much airier than the SoundPeats and just more enjoyable. The treble is a bit too boosted on both these buds, but it's less offensive on the Earfun. The SoundPeats Mini Pro beats the Earfun clearly on the soundstage and slightly on the timbre. But that's it. Even the max volume on the Earfun measured much louder at about 120 decibels. Don't ask us on what scale, it was just louder, okay? So for sound, at least for our taste, the Earfun Free Pro 2, despite all its faults, is definitely the winner because it succeeds in making music more fun in your ear.
From what's inside your ears to what's outside it, let's talk about build, design, and comfort. The Earfun has a different design. We love the sleek faux metal case, and the fit is also very good. Although these days the silicone tips seem to be slipping out of our ears. Maybe it's just the tip wearing out after use and losing its stickiness. Now in general, we do not prefer wing tips. We are not left wing or right wing like that. But the wingtip design on the Earfun doesn't get in the way even for us. The Earfun also one-ups the SoundPeats on two other aspects. So you could say that it two-ups the SoundPeats. Anyway, it has wireless charging, which the SoundPeats doesn't, and a superior IPX7 water resistance to SoundPeats IPX5. The SoundPeats also has a nice compact case, but it doesn't really stand out in any particular way and is just as pocketable as the Earfun. In terms of battery life though, it's a mixed bag. The SoundPeats gives you 1 hour more on the buds itself, and the Earfun gives you 10 hours more from the case. So depending on your preference, you may want to choose one over the other. But both use the single colored LED to indicate battery status, which we don't think is very colorblind friendly. And since both of these buds can let you use each bud on its own, you can basically use them for a long time if you have one charging in the case and one in your ear. In terms of looks, SoundPeats has that Superman logo inspired action going on, which is fine. And the Earfun has that metallic rectangular design, which is also fine. Both of these buds look better than plain vanilla buds, and none of them is the world's best looking wireless earbud, but at least they sport an original look, which we appreciate. Which one do you like? but all things considered, we're gonna have to give the build to the Earfun Free Pro 2.
Alright, 2 on 2. Will the SoundPeats compete? We talked a little bit about how the earphones kept falling from our right ear, but we found both to be equally comfortable while the SoundPeats stayed in my ears better. This is of course going to be subjective, but if some of you out there have our exact same ear holes, you'll be happy to know that the SoundPeats fit. I'm waiting for your comments, my ear hole twin. In terms of touch controls, there's nothing to choose between these two. Both give you fairly complete controls. Volume controls for music and calls, media controls, ability to switch to low latency mode, and the ability to answer, hang up, or reject calls. But there's no muting possible on phone calls.
Hey, did someone say calls? Here are some microphone samples in quiet, noisy, and windy conditions. Take a listen or feel free to skip the test and jump to the next chapter. We are cool about it. SoundPeats Mini Pro quiet conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Earfun Free Pro 2 quiet conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. SoundPeats Mini Pro noisy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Earfun Free Pro 2 noisy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. SoundPeats Mini Pro windy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Earfun Free Pro 2 windy conditions. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing, 1, 2, 3.
For quieter environments, as is the case these days, both buds sound perfectly fine. In noisy conditions, the SoundPeats isn't trying to do much with cancelling out noise, so you get everything, the noise and the voice. Especially the lower end sound is really present, and that tends to be very disturbing if you're out and about. The Earfun tries to suppress background noise aggressively, so while it may sound cleaner, the voice can also come across as heavily processed. The same is the case in windy conditions, and the Earfun does very well at suppressing the wind at the cost of you sounding like a damn robot. In actual real-world calls and not just tests, the SoundPeats didn't fare very well for us when we were out and about, while we have used the Earfun quite a bit for calls. So we'll also give the edge to the Earfun in this department. But we're talking about two fairly average buds for calling. Don't expect people to hear you crystal clear all the time, especially if you throw some wind or background noise in the mix. All right, from the noises from our mouths to the lack of noises in our ears. Oh my God, the segues are getting worse than ever. Anyway, this time we did things a bit differently. We played a pink noise across the spectrum and then compared 3 different aspects: the normal mode without any ANC or transparency, the noise cancelling mode, and the transparency mode, or ambient or pass-through, whatever you call it, and we generated some graphs. This is going to be a graph heavy video. These tests are a lot of work, guys, and Kevin and I do this channel part-time, so if you want to help us, please consider supporting us on Patreon. It will help us put more time and resources into improving our content and maybe even our jokes. Okay, the jokes are not getting better. Don't support us for the jokes. Don't do that. On noise cancelling, both these buds cut out a good amount of low-end noise and also the mid frequencies. The graphs don't show it, but the SoundPeats did slightly better on ANC, but very slightly. There's not going to be a make or break difference. On transparency though, the difference is much clearer. The Earfun felt much more natural. The overall levels are quite boosted. That's something you don't really see in the graphs. And there's clear presence of the mid and higher pitch sounds, which makes me think that you can use them quite comfortably. The SoundPeats transparency is also decent in terms of frequencies, but it doesn't really boost overall volume, so it's hard to use them with those buds in your ear. So this round clearly goes to the Earfun Free Pro 2. What else? What else? Oh yeah, extra features. Both have a low latency mode to satisfy you gamers out there. There's no multi-point to be seen on any of these, so take it nice and easy, one device at a time. And that's pretty much it, really. So what's the conclusion here? I think you guys know where we're going with this. The Earfun is the cheaper of the two and is our pick for everything. Sound, transparency, calls, build. The SoundPeats has the slight edge in secureness of fit and ANC, but not enough to tilt the fight in its favor. Now, just to be clear, in this comparison, it may have come across that the SoundPeats Mini Pro aren't good, but that's simply not true. For the price, they are really good. It's just that for us, the Earfun Free Pro 2 still is the better set of earbuds at about $50. Thanks so much for watching, guys. For the latest prices, hit the links on the screen or in the description down below. You've been wondering how 50 euros gets you Pro earbuds, and we've been DHRME. Namaste.